All right. Hello, everybody. Today I have an incredibly special guest, the one and only Brendan Da Silva. And for those of you who don't know this man, he's definitely going to tell you. First, just want to say welcome to Zeus and Bruce.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What did get you named Zeus and Bruce?
Zeus and Bruce, man. Yeah. So we talked about how that episode came to be a little bit, and really just the title for the show and all that stuff. And hopefully it sticks. I'll say I don't know if it's good as Brendan Da Silva, leader of the Silva team. The whole sentence, it's quite good. It flows. It really runs well. But hopefully we get it running and go with that. Tell us a little bit about the story of Brendan, or how you want to go about it, where you want to begin, and just a little bit of a backstory. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is an awesome guest. I'm a little bit biased. However, it shouldn't matter too much. The content's still really great. So yeah, let's do it.
Backstory is, well, you and I have a very similar upbringing.
Do we?
Yeah, so we grew up together.
Wow. Wait, where are you from?
So no, but basically, yeah, we grew up. I would say it was a beautiful family experience, but definitely more of like, high, almost like chaos, like very, very intense. And I think that's normal when you grow up in like an immigrant family. It's more normal at least. And then grew up in the church, etc. Found Jesus when I was 17 years old. That kind of transformed my life because I was really being a kind of punk for then. And then going into my senior high school, life really transformed, right? Like radical. Then went to college to be pastoral ministry. That was going well until like I went through this like chaotic phase of my life. Life down spirals. Fast forward a few years of like chaos.
Let's say at this age, what's the age? You're 22.
So when everything went like chaotic in my life, was actually just about like 7 years. So I was 20.
The 20s when it began. Oh, right, Thanksgiving too.
Sure.
Yeah. So 20s more or less when it began, and then when the ball started to really roll with chaos going on and things developing from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then finding a way to turn it around. I mean, talk to us a little more about that.
Or the turnaround, or the
the turnaround, but let's even say a little bit before, because the dynamics even growing up. Just saying through that, how does some of those events shaped how you see things, how you went about the decisions you were making? How did that play a role together?
Well, I think growing up, we always you had to find a way to figure things out constantly, and there was not much maybe there was a lot of guidance, but I guess like you have selective memory growing up and like what you want us to do. So I think for me, as I grew up into my senior year of high school, and that was like I was really rebelling and just trying to crowd for attention. So when Christ came into my life, that was like, you have the attention you've been looking for on like an eternal, infinite level. Like this is actually that hole that we all have. That's what fills it, right? Like the higher, Son of Dios, like God Almighty. So then from there, that was like for me profound. But unfortunately, poor decisions and then injustice led me to getting all in trouble. And from there, I had when you are in the church, you have this like bad boy look, good boy heart, this good guy heart. That's and you have the charisma. People love that. Like, they throw opportunities to you, they throw out ministry opportunities to you. But realistically, like charisma is very different than character, right? So like I didn't really have a character to support my calling. And I think that actually is why it was shown when I got in trouble. And then I believe God, through that experience of me getting in trouble, was what he did to redeem it, at least, was he really said, hey, you don't need anyone else's like validation to that. Not like I don't need anybody, but like you don't need anybody else's what's the word I'm looking for?
Validation, acceptance, recognition.
Yeah, I guess like you're not solely dependent on that. Like first and foremost, you depend on me. So when that happened, I was like, whoa, my whole life I've been pushing for that. Even when I think I didn't need it, I still went back to it from, dating, etc. So that was actually pretty mind-blowing of an experience. And I think that really is where I ended up getting in trouble. Like that phase of my life when I was 20. And that really down spiraled. Now with the down spiraling came PTSD, came hurt. When you're hurting, people in your loved ones also are hurting, right? Because of the empathy. So then you had to deal with the shame and the guilt from that experience. And then you have to deal with the trauma related to that experience and anxiety related experience. And you understand, like a duration of trauma, right? If you think you have cancer and you're doing like 6 different hospital visits over the course of like 3 months, a year. They're doing tests. 20. One of my friends had like 20 tests. Right?
20 tests of what?
Basically, they thought he had a brain tumor. So they were doing all these tests, but he couldn't have a tumor. He's like, I don't know what's going on. Ends up he didn't have a brain tumor. He just suffered so much concussions growing up. So the point is, though, he had over a long period of time, he had sustained trauma from that. He was terrified. Like, I'm gonna die. So he's not like that. Really hit him hard, right? So I think for me, I had that on a different degree with my getting in trouble, living that life, really like suffering. Like, what's gonna happen next? And then from there, basically, I like the aftermath of that season of my life where I was like basically down spiraling, depression, like really, really dead. Now the dust settles.
The dust settles.
The dust settles. And then you come out like a warrior, you're like, hey, I'm gonna take over the world. But the reality is you're still a broken man. So even though you made it out of the battle, you survived, right? The battle's not over. Now you got cuts. Now you got wounds. Now you bring the battle with you wherever you go, even though the battle's been done. So I think, and that's what you see a lot, and I think that's the best way you see post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of people, even with military, think, oh, it's only military, right? Oh, wow, you went through a war. They hear something, a plane flies over, they go into fight or flight mentality. We're at the baseball field, just airport nearby.
Incredible thing you're saying, just to throw it in, is there's a powerful saying that only the dead have seen the end of war.
Well, that's really powerful.
Right. It's from ancient Greece. It's I think from Plato or Aristotle. This idea that only the dead have seen it, and to your analogy of being at a baseball field, a peaceful environment, more or less.
But you see,
it still comes.
And now you take the PTSD, right, post-traumatic stress disorder. Now you take that, and now you say, okay, listen. Well, there's a whole another field of this, which is everyday people. Mm-hmm. Everyday people experience trauma. Everyday people suffer. Everyday people have this painful experiences that shake you. Maybe it's sexual assault. Maybe it's physical assault. Maybe it's a home invasion. Maybe it's getting fired. Maybe it's worse, right?
Sometimes you hear incredibly beautiful music on the piano, or even the 2 footsteps of 2 little corgis that are coming to visit us.
Yeah, you have the doctor.
And they come out of nowhere. So to segue this with, you're saying, it seems that you have this passion and connection with stuff, mental health, especially with men. And recently, I believe it was last month, or maybe it's November, National Mental Health
October
Awareness.
Is National.
It was October.
October is National Mental Awareness. Mental health awareness.
Right. So then for this one, you're able to see the experience behind it and the way it connects and how it's all intertwined. Yeah, it's incredible. So this has been able to be some of the backstory, and it's leading up to sort of, let's say, 2021 Brendan Da Silva, where let's say if we were to take you from today versus 3, 4, 5 years ago, how do we see that shift? And one thing we want to focus on this show, as well as ways that a person can take, the analogy with Zeus, again, I repeat on the show, he's essentially becomes an outcast from his father, Cronus, views him as a threat, and he's about to consume him. But Cronus' wife, Rhea, doesn't let him do it, replaces Zeus with a stone. Zeus basically lives with the common people, and then Zeus is able to develop, find connection, more power in himself and meaning, and he's able to elevate himself and really become this individual and frees his siblings who were actually enslaved inside Cronus' stomach.
That's a great story.
It actually worked out very well with how I created the title for this.
Oh, yeah?
So with this, that's why we try to focus and bring on characters like yourself who have a similar story where they're able to figure out
How would you relate my story to Zeus?
So the common theme that I've seen laid it out is someone who's operating from a place where there seems to be disadvantage, whether circumstantially or even from a decision standpoint. But the trajectory is that they take the initiative, they take matters into their own hands, and then find a way to propel themselves and take action and do the necessary steps, do the hard work, be not fearless, but brave and courageous, even in the face of that, and continue to move forward, which then can free others who may be in their own spot. So I know your background a little more, and you have that trajectory and the work you're doing now. But how do you visualize it when you get to be able to?
I think, okay, well, where was I 5 years ago? Where am I doing?
Yeah, you were talking about your faith a lot, and also what other action steps you're able to take, and what visualizations did you take?
5 years ago, 5 years ago tomorrow.
Tomorrow, is it?
Yeah,
yeah, that's right, actually.
So 5 years ago tomorrow, I just got out of jail. 6 months, boom, done. Now I'm out of jail. 5 years ago tomorrow, boom. Now you got to think, you usually out of jail. Your life is shook. You've been in jail 6 months. Now it's not that long of a time, but it's still a very long time. Think about 6 months is a long time. 6 months will go by like that, but in jail it goes by like.
There's supposed to be a snap.
No, I'm trying to show you how slow it is.
Oh wow! So even with the slowness,
you don't even hear the end.
It goes down not with the bang, but with the whimper.
Literally,
it's intense. It's intense.
So basically, from there were some like I definitely can't say. I really don't think I would have made it out. I don't. Here's interesting. The return rate at jail is wild in incarceration. It's like 1 in 5 people will go back.
Let's say the recidivism.
Recidivism. I read the term for it. It's like 1 in 5 people.
I recently just heard it. Yeah.
1 in 5 people. I think it's
that much.
I think it's like 1 in 5. We'll go back.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to maybe fact check that.
Yeah, we'll add that into the bottom just to get some.
Yeah, maybe it is. But nonetheless, even if it's 1 out of 10, it's a lot of people go back.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they never end up having the opportunity. And me, when you have a violent misdemeanor on your record, you can't get a job. That's what I mean. So I couldn't get a job. I was applying all those places. I became waiter again. I'm like, I don't want to go back to waiting tables. I became waiter again. I'm like, okay, what's next? Now I'm back here and I'm thinking, this is no good.
Not at all.
I'm going to be waiting tables. And I'm shook. So I'm trying to wait these days. Now I'm waiting tables at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm selling wings. And I applied for these other jobs. And I applied for job, can't get a job. Finally, I get to like the 3rd round of interview. And it says on one line, it says like, have you ever been convicted of a sexual crime? So I said, oh my God. And I got shook.
You can't even.
Yeah. Well, I got hit. I got 5 round interviews. The guy's just like, hey, you got the job, boom. And my job, guess what it was? It was washing handicapped elderly, picking them up, putting them in bed.
Like physical people.
Physical.
I didn't know you were doing this.
I was gonna.
Oh, this was you were going to do.
Yeah,
this.
I never got a job. $12 an hour. $12 an hour. I was going to do this job. $12. $12. What can you can't even eat with $12. You can't get a good lunch for $12. Maybe you could. $12 is like a minimum for lunch. So anyway, I didn't get a job. I walk out of that interview. Obviously, I can't explain my 2-year legal battle in 2 lines. So I say, okay, I'm out. I call my buddy. I think it was Ben. Ben. I was crying on the phone. I said, I'm so embarrassed. It sucks, man. Okay, man. Still remember the street.
The street too.
I still remember the street. Was
that vivid.
Vivid.
Oh, the intensity of the emotion.
Oh,
or the emotional intensity was so high.
Yeah, so high.
Probably brought you back.
So embarrassing. So embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Yeah.
And you just walk out. It's very awkward. Anyway, so from there, you guys are going to call you. I said, that's no problem.
Oh man,
it was so painful. Really painful. Really painful. But from there, I end up finding. I was pushed into a career. I ended up going into real estate. That's where I'm at now. As a real estate salesperson, a realtor, right? That's what it is, realtor. That's it, right? Not realtor. I don't know if you know that. Do you know
realtor? Yeah, wait, so for me, it's REALTOR.
That's how people pronounce it, right?
Realtor.
Yeah.
Realtor.
Well, people always say, oh, I'm a realtor.
Realtor. Yeah, it's so then what are we supposed
to do? No, so it is realtor.
Oh, it is realtor.
It is realtor.
Ah.
Now you know. Now you're going to sound educated. Or
I mean, at least now I know something very big.
Yeah, I guess.
Get myself out of trouble.
Yeah, I get in trouble. But anyways, so basically from there, I end up, the class is like $440.
So the class for the training to be certified, to be able to make a sale?
In order to be a realtor in the state of New Jersey, you got to be licensed. In order to be licensed, you got to take a class. In order to take a class, you got $440.
So the cost is $440.
Correct.
The timeline from start to finish, let's say 2 months?
No
way.
I did it in 2 weeks.
It's
surprising how easy it is.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like you're wielding, let's say, a lethal weapon.
Oh, you are. We're going to that.
Oh, wow.
But
here we go.
In a way, you're dealing with most lethal weapons.
I mean, Chekhov's gone. We're going to come back. That's a metaphor. We're coming back.
No, but here's what I'll tell you. So, truly, anyways, I got out of jail, 6 months, boom. My whole life's over. I'm back in the faith in this beautiful place. I'm like leaning in. But here are the things I did that really made a difference. That if you were in a place of despair, I would do now. One,
Wait, so say that part again, just in case it was a little off. If you are in a place of despair.
If you were in a place of despair, this is what I would do again.
So let's say a lot of people right now, it seems, just are unemployed, or they're part of the Great Resignation, or they're in a middle tough spot where they don't know what to do, where to go. This is what you'll recommend.
Most important thing.
Yeah.
Most important thing. Work on yourself. Your health, mentally, physically. Aligned. During that time, I was working out every single day. I was in the best shape. I was a Greek god. My physical shape. Why?
You were Zeus?
I was Zeus. Because I was literally I was in excellent shape. Why? Because I had all this pain. That the physical exercise alleviates that pain that you feel emotionally so often, and it channels the frustration you're feeling. So it's very important. Workout. 2, major pro tip. Get connected with the right people.
Meaning what?
So right people, what does that mean? So you have to, in this time of despair, you're not going to know where you want to head out. You don't know where your 5-year plan is. You don't know where your 10-year plan. You got to head around people who are positive, people who are motivated and pulling you forward. Not pushing you, go forward from behind, pulling you ahead of you. Right? They're ahead of you. They say, come on, come this way.
Yeah, pushes
not, hey, I'm behind you, but I'm telling you to go further.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a pull. So that's like the most important thing. Surround yourself. Me, I was surrounded by people who are hustlers, who are moving. I had David Choi, he was moving. I had Juan Carlos, he was moving. So people, if you're around 5, that expression, right? Show me your 5 close friends, I'll show you where you're going to be in 5 years. Same is true with income, right? Show me your 5 closest friends. What's their income? Okay, take the average. That's where you're going to be.
What do you think that is? It's proximity to power. It's more being in the realm of people.
I think it's like if you're around people who no one works out, you're not going to work out.
There's going to be more excuses that come in and say, yeah, it's all good.
If you're around people who are rich, you're never going to feel rich.
So maybe it's a standard. It seems. The standard set.
It's a standard. It's a culture. It's opportunity. It's crucial. People. So what I would work on myself in terms of mental health, physical health. I went to counseling.
Mental, physical, taking care of the counseling. Part of the mental.
For me, what I did was mental. I went to counseling. But thankfully, to the people around me who pushed me to counseling, pulled me to counseling. 2, physical, worked out. 3, spiritual. I joined church and I found a pastor who would really kind of guide me and heal me back, right? Or heal me to what's new, heal me to where I need to be at.
Would this look like for other people who may not be religious? Could it be a community and a mentorship? Or finding a group of people who are similar peer group, the community that takes you in, and the mentor that can take you.
It's challenging for me to speak, even if you're not religious. It's hard for me to speak, oh, well, this worked for you. I can only speak of what I've seen myself happen and what I've seen other people go through. And I think, I don't really necessarily consider myself the most religious person. Actually, I really don't. But there's a big difference. Like, in the classic is the religion is man-made, right? Religion is hey, this is our faith. Catholicism, this is what our faith is. This is how we're going to get to God, right? This is what we're going to do, the do's and don'ts. I don't want to be. Who wants to be a religious person? Nobody. It's terrible. It sounds very limiting, right? It's not very fun. And even Jesus in the New Testament, he goes against who? The religious people. That's who he's against. He's not against anyone else besides the religious people. So I don't want to be a religious person. But for me, that's why I say spiritually. And I'm not talking about spiritualistic, New Age, we're here. No, I'm talking
the chakras, the astrology, all this stuff.
Not a shaman.
Okay. Not for you.
Not for me.
Okay.
So for me, I see hey, I'm really tapping into the faith of Jesus Christ, where it's he is the healer, right? He's the divine healer. He is coming, he's king of my life. What's king? King is the highest authority in the room. That's him. That's how it has to be. So for me, that's why I submitted myself to. Perfectly, no. But consistently, yeah.
Consistently find a way to do that. So then if we're going to go back to it, it's the health for sure. That's physical and mental. And finding a community and a mentor. And in your case, it was a church group and
work on yourself, get connected.
Oh, and the peer group. Group.
Yeah. Work on yourself and then get connected.
Okay, so just for who's listening, really note that, because it seems when you are in a place that you're not operating as efficiently, you take those key steps and they're actionable and you can control. It's in your realm of control. It doesn't seem too external. You're not waiting for a job in the mail or for someone to invite you to something. You're realizing, what do I need to take care of in the immediate? And you don't need that many resources to take care of your health physically. Walking, you need.
Yeah, so there's different degrees, right? It all depends how serious you want to get. But you can be very serious with limited resources and do a better job with someone who has a lot more resources.
That's really true. That's really true. Yeah, some people, I'm not going to say names. I know these people personally, will pay a couple $100 for a gym and don't actually go all the time. I don't want to put that person on blast, but these things happen. These things happen. These things definitely happen. Powerful. Well, because we've transitioned really, there's a lot of the backstory.
Backstory.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So now fast forward. I get into real estate. I don't have
money.
So
now it seems like we're talking a little bit of the mix we have with career and passion, a little bit.
Oh, yes, career and passion.
Career and passion.
This is a career right now. This is not
so we're still in career.
I would say this is career.
Okay, so we're talking about.
Okay, wow, that was a perfect segue.
Yeah, I mean, you really led me there.
You've done this before.
I've had actually I posted one interview but I've done two. And we like to converse and talk. And
It kind of seems like you know you do.
well, some say I'm the Babe Ruth of this game, but or we'll say LeBron in 2003. A lot of potential, but gotta live up to it. Rumor mill. Point being is we gotta act on what's there. But let's get back to where we go.
Okay.
We did backstory, incredible. Now we're talking a little bit about career, which is real estate.
Yeah, so career is real estate. Basically, I don't have the money for the class. The class is $440. I can't go. When I'm down in Jersey, I go down to Florida for a men's retreat. Spiritual, right? In the faith, Christian faith.
So just to give back when you're 27 now, this was at the age of
22.
22. So just to give reference, this is really for a majority of probably people who listen to this and even don't, it's post-college graduate, finding their way into what's sort of
post-college graduate, post-convict.
Okay, so you have
and post-breakup.
Oof. So let's see.
I'm post
so you're financially post Malone, basically. If only we could edit this, we put in the songs. I need to get an editor. But we have financial struggle, we have emotional struggle, and legal trouble. So what do they say are the three best lessons? It's a broken heart, an empty wallet, and there's a third one.
I don't know.
But typically these are great teachers, and you've experienced these, let's say, at the age of 22.
Okay, broken home.
Or maybe nowhere to be, or broken home relationally as well.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So at the age of 22, transition period.
So yes. Yeah. So I transition. I went for my buddy Juan Carlos. He's a really, really good guy. He gives me $400. He said, "Brendan, listen, I have $400. I don't have any more."
He banked on you.
Oh, he bet on me.
Or bet on you, yeah.
He bet on me. He was a realtor too, though. So he saw the success, the opportunity was.
He is a baller. He is a baller too.
He literally best.
Literally, didn't you say, I don't want to put him on the spot, but he played with Kyrie Irving in high school. Was that him?
I have never said that. Maybe
you did. Someone said that to me.
He told me that story
because they grew up in the same town, Elizabeth. I think it was.
Rahway. Kyrie Irving.
Oh wait, no. I think it was one of those, but then they played in the same league. And point being, he's a baller. Just not even for basketball or character, just especially his ability to help.
Anyways, point is this. So he's just making it. He's making like 80 grand. His maybe he's making 80, 90, 100 grand, 120 grand, 130 grand. He's in that like 80 to 120 range, right? He's just starting to make like
at the age of 20, he's 23.
He's probably 23 as well, but in that age, he's probably making 70 grand at that time. Right when he got me 80 grand. And so he's been saying, hey, I'm making money. This makes sense. So he bets $400 on me. So it was good.
It's only the 40.
He gave me the 40. So
yeah. 40.
So I call the school and say, hey, listen, I have $400. I want to take your class. I don't have $440. So anyway, you give me a discount.
What did they say?
She said, would you write me a 5-star review?
I mean, I've never done that. That's ridiculous, man. all jokes. So
I basically gave her the $500 review.
It's remarkable.
So I gave her the $5 review. Well, I gave her a 5-star review. That's what it is. And then I take the class. I passed my school test my first time.
Nice.
And it's a 2-week intensive, so you do it like every day. And I passed my school test my first time, and then I passed the state test my first time. And when I passed my state test, I am going nuts. I'm like, I'm so excited. This is it. I made it. But what happens? When you pass your state test, right? It's a computer exam. You got to you got to be approved by the board of the NJAR, like New Jersey Association Realtor Board, whatever it is.
Some certification to make sure you're able to.
What do I have? A record.
So now here's the
So I go to so basically what should be a week to get your license took me about 7 weeks. So I was acting without my license for like 7, 8 weeks. And I can't tell you why I don't have my license. So for like 6, 8, 7, 8 weeks, I didn't have my license. So I had to write a letter petitioning them, please give me an opportunity, blah, blah, blah.
I remember this. It was a big struggle. We were
checking. I was super worried, etc.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm like, oh man, this is terrible. Ugh.
The waiting period.
And I'm just now single for the first time in a long time. So I feel like I'm doing this alone in a sense. But thankfully I have community pulling me forward.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting the course. My first year I sold 6 houses. Now I'm in like 5 years. My first year I sold 6 houses. I worked 80 hours a week.
80 hours a week in 6 houses?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you don't get paid unless you sell.
Wow.
So my first house I ever sold, actually, I drove an hour and a half away like a dozen times. The deal died. Finally, I go back, and I only made on the file like $2,400, $2,200, But I spent and it was a huge sale, right? For me. And I love that guy. His name is Phil. He's an amazing guy. I really
Shout out Phil for
Shout out
taking
Phil
a
for
chance.
taking
There
a
we
chance
go.
with me
Right? Got to send this to him.
and it was down in the county. I didn't have the access to on the Supra. So I was like breaking into these houses. They leave a window open, I open the window, go inside.
Wow.
Because I couldn't get in with the little key. So I'm like, oh man. And you have to pay for the key. It's like $45, whatever it is.
Another 45 you didn't.
I didn't have this money.
Mm.
So I was just opening windows, hopping in, and then before he got there, then it would open up. Oh, I think they're locked. I would be like, oh, I think they're locked. It's in the back.
Yeah, I think someone just came and.
Yeah, let me just check the back out real quick. No,
Jeez.
I'll jump through the window so many times. So it was this huge thing, man, for me. Huge thing.
So then you go from that 6 to the 80 hours a week. The first year, you're building some momentum in a little bit. And then what's the point where it starts to take off? And you're implementing strategies and just mindsets and ways to go about that.
Yeah, so I got connected with this lender. His name is Carlos Figuera. He's the owner of Key Point Mortgage in New Jersey. And he starts funding a Zillow campaign for me. So buying me leads. That's what it is. So it's buying me leads. And I start taking advantage of these leads, right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm a salesperson. That's what I realized, right? So my first year, I sold 6 houses. The second year, I sold 32 houses. The fourth year, I think I sold third year, I sold 50.
So you go from 6,
32 to 50,
okay.
6, whatever it is. And then fourth year, we do 110. Then this year's our fifth year.
Yeah.
We'll be at 225, which is just under $1 million.
So the trajectory has been lethal. And
yeah, sorry, that's under 100 million in sales. So 225 is about 100 million in sales. So it's definitely grown a lot. We're now an organization of about 15, 17 members, when back then it was just me in the office making cold calls.
Just going calls.
Horrible life. Absolutely horrible life.
Struggle, man.
Struggle.
It seems to feel a lot of people.
But it took me a long time.
Right.
The first year, 6 houses.
Yeah. So it's tough because sometimes we want to see the end result and we know that there's work to put in. We don't want to sometimes do the work that's in the beginning, whether that's making calls or even taking the course or even being humble enough, maybe even desperate enough to call someone and say, hey, look, I only have this. Could you help me out?
Oh, yeah.
And do a rating.
Well, there's the thing. So I started telling myself this principle, and I think it was very good. It's not sustainable. This chair, by the way, is really comfortable.
The chair, it's a little squeaky too.
Little squeaky.
Not my chair. Mine hasn't squeaked yet. Well, I mean, to be fair, I think I've been pretty still.
Yeah, but you look a little stiff.
Do I look a little stiff? Well,
you don't look cozy.
If you're listening on the podcast, so what do you recommend? Reposition.
You actually in the podcast you look comfortable, but
in the video,
my chair.
Yeah, I think it's a little. We're comfy. To be fair, we actually just had dinner, so if you see us, we're kind of covering the abdomen.
Oh wow!
Just covering the abdomen. I mean, I'm talking about the other guest there. But to be fair, he had 2 plates. He got 2 plates. Yeah, I think. Did you have 2 plates?
And the cholesterol from the meats.
Oh yeah, that's a whole different story. That's a different story.
So basically,
let's get back. Yeah.
So in my career, I think what I came back to was
the key principle.
Key principle is this: I'm either going to succeed or I'm going to die.
Another analogy, just for other people who see this and want to see a different way. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could be you want to take over the island, you got to burn your boats. But talking about either you go and if you want to take over an island or just conquer something, if you have that escape route, you're putting less of a urgency. So more or less.
So that story about burning the boat is actually very interesting. I actually read the whole story. The whole from beginning to end. This conquistador, I forgot his name. Maybe
from where the Spanish.
The whole story is this: that when it comes burning,
the conquistadors.
So there's a Spanish emperor. Let's call him, and he keeps sending people to at the time Mexico, our modern day Mexico, to take over. But people are getting scared. People are dying. And he can't just send anyone there because let's say he sends someone and they succeed, but that person he sends wants a huge head. They're not going to conquer it for the emperor. Who are they going to conquer it for?
Oh, for themselves.
For themselves.
Of course.
For the king, right? Not the king of Spain, right? The emperor of Spain. No, he's going to
take it for himself. Yeah, you put in all that work.
So basically, he has this guy. Let's just call him Conquistador Bruce. Right?
Sure.
So Bruce, Zeus of Bruce, now Conquistador Bruce. So Bruce is getting a reputation for what?
Big head, ego.
Now the emperor's like, listen, I can't send this guy. But Bruce hears the rumor about what? He's about to get cut from the trip.
Cut from the trip.
So what does he do in the middle of the night? He takes the men, says, everyone get on the boats, everyone get on the boats. We gotta go. He says, hey, we've been ordered, we have to leave right away. He leaves before the king can hear what?
That they're plotting to do all this?
Before the king can get wind of him doing this, and before the men can hear, hey, the king doesn't want you guys to be led by this man anymore. So he gets a loyalty. And this is not like, if you can't call this guy, right? He's on a boat.
Yeah, you can't call him.
You can't call him. It's done.
I mean, you can send a message in a bottle. You can send a pigeon.
Yeah, you can't call this guy. It's like 1800s, whatever, 1700s. So 1700s probably. Probably 1700s, right?
I mean, if
1600s.
Within the past 500 years, but more so before the 1700s, we'll say.
Yeah, we'll guess.
Okay.
So basically, anyways, he shows up on the shore. When he shows up on the shore, the men start realizing what? We want to go back to Spain.
Oh my goodness! No way.
They're hearing that they would eat the flesh. They would skin the people, not just their scalps. They would skin the humans.
Oh, it's very.
And the Aztecs had this reputation for being the Mayans too. These merciless warriors. So we're going to die these people here? Is that your mind? This is crazy. So this is what they did. They started thinking, go back for it. They get in a battle. People are fighting boldly. They say, we got to go back. Because what do they want to do? They want to live, survive. So what? They can go back. Right? But the king's like, the conquistador Bruce, the leader, is like, this is not going to work. He goes to his right-hand man, says, hey, go sink the boats. So that's what he first did. He sunk boats. He basically had wood eating. He went and he had the people drill holes and sink. So the men would go, oh my gosh, let's say 10 boats. Oh my God, 8 boats sank. What are we going to do? Everyone's so upset, flipping out. And they started, and they thought, what? Oh, it must have been wood-eating insects that ate the boat. Oh my gosh!
It's completely shifted.
Narrative.
Wow.
But the men realized what? No, this is not true. They hear wind of it. The captain did this, so they might mutiny him. He goes, men, listen. We have 2 choices. I left 2 boats out. If you want to go back, you can go back. But if you want to be here, you got to be here. Because we have an opportunity to take over this entire land. And we take over, that's glory. That's our lives. That's ours. Don't go back to your women. Bring your women to glory. Right? They burn the boats.
So then
it's a mentality. Yeah. And the Japanese samurai, actually, there's one guy, actually, in a book you gave, like, it's like not 48 Lost Power. It's another book. It's like 100 Principles from War. Basically, the Japanese samurai, when he was leading his samurai into battle, he would. The art of war, it said you should never fight with your back to the water, right? Because you have nowhere to escape, and that keeps you survive. Yeah. But he actually made the opposite comment. He would always make sure
you fight with the
samurai war, their backs to the water. Why? We're either gonna die right now, or you're gonna kill these people. So my point is, from me going to jail, I had that mentality of I have no other option. This needs to work. Yeah. Period.
Yeah, we'll say
I couldn't get a job. I couldn't go back to I couldn't go be a pastor, right? I had no other choice. So it's either you do this or you're gonna die. Yeah, now my mentality is shifting. But that's where I was.
No, for sure. And for any we have 2 nieces, they're both young. For any of them, they just started taking swimming lessons. So for them, we'll say the analogy for them, sink or swim. Kind of put it up. But no, that definitely does nail it on the head. So to take from that, it's essentially starting from a point, a lot of odds against you, but taking the control, not being more from the position not of the victim, but how can you become the victor? How can you really leverage the situation and take what you need? It's crucial. That's a crucial way. So let's see, with all this work and all this busyness that you love, some of that has to overlap with passion and hobbies. What are some things that come? I mean, earlier today we played some basketball. Worked on our shooting.
I'll be honest.
For such a busy man and someone with a lot of thoughts going on, how do you keep yourself happy?
Yeah. So this is actually one of my biggest issues in my career. So the whole like succeed or die, right, mentality. I realized something. You can actually die.
It's a possible.
It's a possible outcome.
I mean, it's happened to a handful of people, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's not. Well, the thing is, with work, it can happen sooner than later. So for me, our goal this year as a company was sell 270 or die.
Oh, there's a hashtag online too. It went pretty viral actually. I went to like southeast US and even West Coast. So it was incredible actually.
So 270 or die was the mentality. What I realized though is that actually was foolish because I burned out. October I crashed. It's already November. October I crashed very badly. Really, really decimated my mental health. And it's because I realized, guys. So what am I? I don't have a hobby, to be honest. My biggest hobby I would say is basketball. I play like maybe twice a week max. As my ankles get better, maybe twice a week. Yeah, that's a reality.
What was that one? Yeah.
I said, yeah, that's a reality.
Oh yeah, that's the
So I played Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So I played twice.
Yeah.
So my point is this: that's my biggest hobby right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's just finding the ways that you're able to decompress and all that stuff, and finding ways that's an outlet.
That's like my only hobby I have. Oh, and fly fishing. But right now,
for sure. And picking up new ones.
Yeah, fly fishing I picked up, but then it got cold. I don't like to go in the water in the cold.
Oh no, the cold you can't do it.
It's too much.
Can't do it. But it's incredible you pick up a passion or hobby for basketball.
Not passion, hobby.
They definitely are very different because we're able to have that medium to connect, and also it keeps you in this place where you can be free and relaxed. Would you say that there is a passion then, or would you say career right now is your passion, or is there something even underlying?
So I think like this. I used to always, when I met people, I would always ask them, Bruce. I'd be like, "Hey, what's your passion?"
Hey, what's your passion? That's
I would always ask you that, and it would always be a feedback. It's a great opening line.
Yeah, similar. I mean, one of the ones I like is, it depends how cold you want to go in. Just say, "Hey, what's your story?" Kind of just hit them, because stories. We're all storytellers. Passion could be passion is a set for me. The way I see passion is like this. Oh, all the time.
You've never said that. There's no way.
All the time.
No
but
way.
When you're saying,
what say you?
Well, here's how I'd say it. When I say that, some people would be taken back.
I would be taken back.
But what I've noticed, and it's not for everyone, this isn't an absolute, but people do have a story that they want to share, they want to tell. And there are a lot of people who are willing to listen that are at least going to do it for free, right? I mean, there's different mediums. But the passion question, I think, is more, what is something you're working on and is a little more future oriented? The story is, how'd you get to where you are now? What's the genesis that began the story of you? And people love to replay, even if it's negative. Sometimes they don't want to, but they still have a part of themselves they want to create an outlet, tweet someone about it. So typically it's deviating from this too. But you're asking people about what's their passion. I'm asking the story, but for yourself, is there one that's there? Is it career, or are you still working on the details of that? Because the career is solid. You do have an incredible wife. You have an incredible home.
My
Things are going. What's that look like?
I think my passion, I think I have like 2 or 3 passions.
Oh man, some people. That's awesome.
I'll be honest. My main passion is like building up people. I don't have a catchy one line for it yet, but like I think maybe impacting and improving lives would be my one liner. But like that actually is something I really care about through real estate. So I see real estate as more than sales. I see real estate really as like a big catalyst for wealth, equality, justice, even legacy, security, joy,
contribution you
freedom.
To do, freedom. Yep.
So for me, that's really important. I see real estate as like the vehicle. Sometimes we could just be talking about real estate by impact people's lives.
Yeah.
So things like that I think are really important. So I think that's my passion. I really, 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 really love people when it comes to impacting. Deb and my wife, right? My wife, Deb.
Shout out
wife.
Deb Da Silva.
Wife of the year. No, soon to be wife of the decade.
Hey, wow. There we go.
It's hot.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, wonderful. Let's. Wonderful. The fact that even more than one passion, but I think at its core, you want to see people.
It's many people.
I want to see people improve, and typically, what I find is their passions are usually formed out of something they've experienced, but mostly is pain, right? You turn the pain into passion, right? Turn the pain into purpose, and finding a way that you can, through whatever experience you had and the one you've been telling us, you see where you were, where you are now, and you see others where they are and where they can be. So you're sort of saying, hey, I was the input. This was the input. Look at the output that ended up occurring, because there were certain things that you were doing to get to that point. And you see it in others, and it's saying, wait a second, there's more to you than what's happening. To quote a very famous alien, there's more to you than meets the eye, right? Or there's more to Optimus Prime, man. Come on. You watch Transformers? Come on. Well, with a lot of success on the way, we're looking, what's been Brendan's, one of his larger failures, and what has he learned? What has he learned from one of these?
Look, I've lost so much money.
Oh, man. That's the biggest failure?
You want to talk about financial loss?
Brother. Or I'll say, leader to the Silva team.
Oh wow, come on!
Just
I lost so much.
Yeah.
I've lost so many failures. I don't know. I don't get what category.
What's one that you
I've lost
sense
so
can
much.
relate to the most people that what you learned from it could be applicable to
So
whatever
my
it is?
biggest failure was I switched schools in college because a girl broke up with me. I wanted a fresh start. I found it was a very codependent relationship, but one-way codependent. So
You were dependent on them.
Yeah, I was.
Oh man.
I was dependent.
Oh man, it's a tough one.
So my challenge there, actually, it'd be funny for you because you actually have like the antithesis where you don't want like you actually like I hear advice, but I'm not gonna take people's advice. What's your advice is different from mine. So you actually are. Well, I would say it was a mistake I made by following that kind of mantra.
Oh, like hearing advice but just not taking it.
Yeah, that was actually what led me to jail. Like direct correlation. So my biggest,
and wait, was it just any advice or the advice of people?
Expert advice.
Okay, see, because there's a difference, right?
Expert advice.
I think that's.
But here's the thing: though, when you're in the place I'm talking about, what I'm talking about here is my biggest failure was going to jail. That was the biggest fail, and it's very interesting to use the term failure there because it was the greatest tragedy in my life, and the reason why, and I failed so many times. Family, I failed to. Dev, I failed. I failed constantly, like failed to every person I know. So that's reality. So I'm talking about the highest level. That I would say I failed myself and I failed the Lord is because when I consider myself very uncoachable.
Uncoachable
At that time.
Ah, okay.
So at that time, I really was not coachable. What is coachable? Coachable means you're willing to learn. You're hungry for feedback. You see what I'm saying?
You're open, you're willing, you're receptive to any feedback that comes. And it could even be a peer, someone even younger, as someone that sees it from a little more of an objective lens. Maybe has less of a bias to see that. So the greatest failure you're saying is have been going to jail. And then the greatest lesson is to learn.
Well, the greatest lesson I learned, I would say, was because people warned me, say, hey, don't go down there. People warned me, hey, don't fool around. People warned me 100 times before me even getting with the girl who ended up breaking up with me, that broke my heart, that ended up
doing all this crazy stuff,
right?
Yeah.
To rebel and party, and she got like the domino effect, right? So the reality is, and this is just like factual, like
this is objective. This is objective.
Like I'm in it. I'm in it, but I'm telling you. So
I feel like we haven't even looked at the camera.
Yeah, well, because we've been engaged.
So, there we go. So time flows.
Well, next time you guys come on board.
Oh wow, there we go. Hey,
what I'm telling you is this: I had a really, 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 really crazy moment when I realized if I had just listened to Bob Maston, this random youth pastor,
Maston from Florida,
from
Word of Life, a Bible camp.
He told me very simply. He said, "Listen, don't date." I met the girl during an internship. He said, "Don't date during an internship." During an internship at their church in upstate New York. I was there interning with the youth. This girl was 18. I'm 19. Hey, let's go. Right, we're young, so we're like hanging off. He told me, "Brendan, don't date during this trip. I'm trying to help you." What did I think? This guy is gregarious. He's strange. He's outspoken. He doesn't get it. And that's the thing when you're uncoachable. What did you say before about that? Expert advice.
There we go.
When you're in a position that you need advice, I don't know if you're actually qualified to determine whose advice is expert. So I said, this guy clearly, he's mentored hundreds of people.
But you were the exception.
But I'm the exception.
You know what that comes down to? And it's not just you. I think we think we're more special, more significant, and that it doesn't actually apply to us, that we're the exception. And I don't know what it comes from. Maybe it's the narcissistic tendencies that we have, or the ability. I think some of it does come from self-belief, because it's more of a desire to, hey, I can prove you wrong. That may be the norm, but I'm not the norm.
It wasn't about.
Or maybe I'm the exception.
Oh, yeah. That may be the norm, but this is different.
Exactly.
But Bruce, don't you think that you saying, like, remember your whole thing with like the advice? Yeah. Don't you think that you fall into that category?
Oh, 100%. And it's crazy how we can give it so easily, but to
take it,
receive it,
and then insane. For you to receive it, what do you say? You're like, when I hear a lot of advice, I don't take the advice. Why? Because it's them. So it's actually there's a value to it, but there's actually like in Proverbs in the Bible it says, like it's like blessed to be around good counselors, like plenty of counselors, like
It's
counsel, like to have a board. Think about a council, right? Like my board of
council. Yeah.
like a board of directors for a company. Hey guys, what do you think we should do here? It's actually great to have that, right? So, anyways, all I'll say is it's good.
The lesson learned is the failure. Let's say going to jail. But the lesson learned is to be coachable, receptive to different inputs from others who will have your best intention, or they have your best intent.
Yeah, and understanding that
their best interest in
here's
them.
one thing I learned too. Even if they're wrong may be better than my wrong. So if I just would have said, hey, listen.
Say that again. I don't think people heard that.
Yeah, so even if, let's say Bob Maston, even if he was wrong about dating, like I actually could have dated her.
Or and let's say if you listen to it, or you listen to it, but you still listen to me different, and it turned out even better. Sometimes that happens.
Yeah. Even though his advice was wrong, the end result was good.
Exactly.
So I think I realized it's okay to take bad advice.
Yeah. And just on top of that, just understand, because this is something
you don't want to take bad advice, but sometimes bad advice is better than your own personal bad advice.
And you can learn something from it, and just understand, as always, you are usually the main one who has to deal with the consequences. You're the one pulling the trigger. You're the one swinging the bat. You're the one pushing the button.
But at the same time, your consequences affect everyone around you.
Yeah, and there's a ripple domino effect that can affect others too. And you're the one pulling it, so you're the one that'll be held responsible. So you mentioned a lot of names, a lot of mentors, and are you still drinking coffee, or what are you doing?
Oh,
no, this guy. Are you still drinking coffee? Or?
Yeah, so I decreased coffee. I was at like 2 cups a day, 3 cups a day, and now I'm down to like 4 cups a week.
Yeah. So with that, really powerful quick suggestion. Myself, I'm not sponsored. Don't worry, I'm not that big yet. And actually, I don't think I want to do any of this stuff. But Athletic Greens, Brendan, you should try it. Athletic Greens, and we have.
But does it wake you up in the morning?
Oh, dude, you have that? I'm having trouble now because I wake up, I do a 40-ounce drink of water, I do my morning process, and then I have Athletic Greens. But I actually think when you wake up, within really 3 minutes, just go to those Athletic Greens, put it in, put some almond milk, put the D2 and K3, I think it is, or D3 and K2, 2 droplets, shake that, 10 to 12 ounces. Dude, it runs through your body, and it's like you become a super saiyan.
Stop.
It's so great. I drink that, and I thought, wow, I can actually operate. But that's one. Just to replace the coffee.
Tell me more about the Super Greens.
Athletic Greens has absolutely, it's, you always hear this ones about all the nutrients you need, and it's a little more money, but the idea is it's concise to the point.
Is there caffeine in it?
No caffeine.
So how are you waking up?
Dude, the nutrients are in there. The other ways people wake up, really, this is foreign to some people, a glass of very cold water, not freezing. And now what I've learned is you throw in a lemon, which is half a lemon or a slice. That's one. And the new one that I found, which I haven't tried yet, so I can't advocate for it, but I've heard the popularity and the success, is about 10 ounces of celery juice. Sounds disgusting. I believe it actually is, but I think it's a taste we acclimate to try that. But if you had to do one of those 4, coffee, celery juice, Athletic Greens, or water with lemon, and if you had to have any of those with a historical figure, who'd you have?
I gotta go with Jesus.
Jesus?
Yeah, I have to go with Jesus. Because I feel like a lot of people wouldn't be able to connect. Who else? It really is because this guy has had the largest impact in humanity.
I mean, yeah, who's had more? A human? Who's had more than
Jesus?
No
human has had a bigger impact than Jesus.
I mean, think about it. We literally switched the calendar of time
around him.
Yeah, I mean, in some areas you could do AD, you can do before the Common Era, sure. But regardless of those factors, it's because of that individual that we still changed the measurement. Yeah.
Not only that, I would also say, he changed.
I mean, it's
changed all of human experience.
What's before we go to the next one? What's 1 or 2 things you'd want to ask him, or just to spend time with him and hear some parables?
I really wouldn't want I wouldn't want a Q&A. I wouldn't want a Q&A.
You just want a free-flowing...
I would want a kind of conversation like this.
Yeah.
Guided conversation and or a day with him.
Where would you want to be? In Nazareth?
No, what does he look like here?
What would he look like in the 21st century?
Today.
If he was walking around New York City?
Boom. I wake up 6:30. I have him till 11.
He's in the room next door.
No, we're hanging out all day together.
What does he want to do?
Yeah, what does he want to do?
Oh, man, that's intense.
How does he eat?
Yeah.
How
does he with left hand, right hand?
Yeah. How does he tip?
Does he tip?
Oh,
now we're getting too deep.
No, I'm serious though. Does he meditate?
Does he meditate?
Hey, I want to show him some videos. What do you think about Facebook? What is your view about
So
this?
let me ask
What do you think about my business? Can you give me some advice? Do you
how to
think
grow it about
No,
the ethics
how
of
to
it,
know
or
the
just-
ethics of it, not just the morality, but like the spirituality. Hey, am I being faithful to you?
So you're
What am
saying
I? What are you calling me to do? I'm sure he would say, "Hey, listen, I'm calling you to give more. I'm calling you to spend more time with me. Let's do this again tomorrow." I think that would be his main thing. He would tell me, he's like, "Hey, I really appreciate you spending time with you today. Can we do this again tomorrow?"
you think you'd do this podcast?
Oof.
Don't break my heart. Come on. That would be incredible, though.
That would be. Oh, you can go viral.
Yeah,
Go
that'd be epic. I mean, that'd be
The
epic.
Messiah.
That would be epic. And yeah, just on top of that, I think it's what you're saying is really seeing how this more ancient philosophy, but even permeating religion now, how does it connect with today's world, right? Because back then there was no social media, there was none of this crazy technology to what we would view as crazy back then. So how would Jesus adapt to that? And what would he say? That would be a whole new book. Maybe that would be the Bible 2.0. One of my favorite sections we move on to is, it's a tough one, book, movie, podcast.
Oh, one
Right?
of each?
So could be one of each, could be 3 of 1, could be 2 of 1. I'm trying to keep it at 2.
Oh, podcasts have a great one to recommend.
Aside from Zeus with Bruce.
Oh, okay.
Aside from Zeus with Bruce, what's a podcast you recommend?
Okay, well,
And we're gonna, just for whoever's listening, we'll put all the ones on the bottom.
yeah. So
yeah.
the books I recommend, I would. We're like any industry or any person or
Brother, for Brendan Da Silva, what is a book that you would recommend?
So no,
that would be just intentional, or even one that you just feel for a specific niche.
So I would recommend 2 books. Wild at Heart. It's a book about the journey of manhood and how God created us. Honestly, I think every man and woman needs to read it.
Great book. I read it myself. Incredible book. And my brother gave it to me.
Yeah, incredible.
Oh, Brendan's my brother, by the way. I don't know
if you haven't figured that out.
I don't know if we mentioned that.
So,
although Da Silva is a common last name for Brazilians. But yes.
So the second book I recommend is actually How to Win Friends and Influence Others.
And influence
others. I know it's classic. Was that
people?
Oh, people.
Yeah, and well, it's like, and well, I guess because you can't really influence.
No, I always say others. How do friends influence others?
I influence people.
No way.
I think. Well, we'll figure it. It's okay. Point being is, you're still. Yeah, we need a fact check.
But anyways, the reason why I recommend the book is this.
Yeah.
So, another.
And this book was written.
Another good book is To Sell Is Human.
Oh, Daniel Pink.
Yes, that book is great.
Okay, is that on a similar level to How to Win Friends?
No, I think this is why How to Win Friends is really important for you to understand literally how to connect people.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
You can go from a hermit.
You said something today on the basketball court. You said conversation is an invisible art form.
It is, man.
I was like, wow, that's actually really good.
Yeah, I think with the lack of, if you have no resources, look, we all have this muscle in our mouths,
but we know how. We have a sword. We're not trained.
It's so lethal.
We're not trained.
We're not trained.
We're not trained.
We're not trained.
We're not trained. So I think why I think those 2 books work well together: How to Win Friends and Influence People,
or others. One of the 2. Okay. Semantics at this point, but
that's one. And then why Daniel Pink is because I think people have a negative connotation.
Or why To Sell Is Human, or To Sell Is Human by Daniel Pink. Yeah.
So why that's necessary is because I think people have a negative connotation when it comes to selling, and they don't realize that every person's always selling.
That's so true, man. And we had that recent conversation where I'd gone to an event, and for myself, the whole perspective of sales has shifted.
And you see, it's so good.
Yeah, it really is. It is.
It's so good.
It
You're
is.
helping.
Yeah, if you're providing, I think like the example is, without going into the story too deep, is if you believe in what you're selling and you have something so valuable, or if you have something very valuable to offer and you don't sell, and it can help people, let's say, if you don't sell it, what you're doing in essence is robbing those people of something that's so valuable that could actually be saving them. So really, it's in essence, it's kind of being selfish.
It is.
And not learning a valuable skill because you don't want to, because there's a negative narrative.
I just used a line with one of my team members. I said, why are you screwing people?
Why are you screwing?
Why are you screwing people?
Yeah.
I said, hey, if you don't accomplish this goal, your family is not going to have the life they need. Yeah. Why are you screwing over your family?
Yeah, it's true. Because that's the
he's like, I'm going to be single for a while, blah, 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 unless I make money. Why are you? He's like, I'm not going to hit this goal. If I don't hit the goal, I'm not going to date. So why are you screwing over your girl? And your son and your daughter? Because that's what you're doing. If you don't hit this goal, you're not building the life for them. So what did they ever do to you? Yeah. And you are why do you hate them? And
it's not a lack of capability, it's a real lack of motivation.
Yes.
It's rarely lack of capability. Powerful, man. Powerful. So to sell is human.
So
How to win friends and influence people.
Yeah, I would say realistically, I would say how to win friends and influence people.
That's probably got to be the first.
That has to be the first.
Yeah, because even
along with the Wild at Heart.
Yeah, because those are like more identity and forming that. But the other one's how to connect with the opposite.
Yes.
Or even a similar.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And then Daniel Peak would be the third.
That would be the third. Hey, so that's good. Movie wise.
Powerful. Yeah. So for movie
wise, I love movies.
This is a movie guy.
Yeah, I'm a movie guy.
This guy can watch.
I've watched quite a bit. And
you say you watch over 1,000 movies?
Well, I actually now have done something I'm very ashamed of.
Oh no, which you didn't close the toilet seat, or what?
I think we got to press pause on the video.
Oh man, we can't. At this point. Also, this is a very one flow go until someone hearing this. If you want some way to increase your portfolio, or you want to practice editing skills, hit me up. My information's there. Yeah. Comment me. But yeah, no edits.
I have a good editor.
Yeah. So we talk about that.
Hey, but so. What is it? Oh,
movie-wise.
I started watching YouTube summaries of movies.
Oh man, dude, you just want to get all the stories. No, man. No. Well, so how do you see the difference?
Here's why I'm so ashamed. I watch it at 1.5 speed.
Oh man. Well, you know what's happening? Those are gonna get to 2.0 speed.
No, I got 2.0. I'm at 2.0. I watched 2.0.
Jeez,
and that baits is just why what are you doing? I'm like, I just want to hear the story.
And
I feel like the thing is, I watched so many movies. Here's something I realized. Let's say there's 100 movies released. I would say probably 10% of them are worth watching. Of like actually probably less, 5%.
Are the narratives just too repetitive? Is it too predictable?
I've now watched movie summaries. I probably not exactly over the past this year. I probably have watched 300 movie summaries.
Wait, so you're saying the past 11 months?
This 11 months, I probably watched 30 movie summaries a month. 20 movie summaries a month. Probably I'm like 250, 300. 250. I watch it, and what I realized is the vast majority of movies follow the same exact.
There's a very similar plot.
So then you ask yourself, okay, what makes movies special? Is this cinematography, the shots? It's second. Maybe not 200. Maybe I'm being exaggerated. 200, but cinematography. It's character development. Wes Anderson, when he films a shot, do you know he picks every piece of furniture in the room?
That's wild, man, because I haven't seen any of his films.
You haven't seen Wes Anderson?
No, but I know there's the one where it's like the fox.
Yeah,
there's a fox.
The Fantastic Fox.
Yeah, there's one scene where there's a polished fox and one in the wild. Yeah, I mean, this guy seems like Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, leave that for another one. Yeah.
So the movie that I recommend right now.
Let's say, what's the movie summary that you recommend? So you say from a start to finish.
No movies. Any movie I've watched in summary, I would.
Let's say top 2. Let's give you a little flexibility. Top
right
2.
now, I say, hey, we gotta watch a movie.
You have to hey.
Well, you actually.
This is the movie,
Mr.
When we get to Mars, you give this film to the Martians to say, hey, this is crucial.
Without a doubt, I say Captain Fantastic.
Captain Fantastic is epic.
That is the movie.
That's an epic movie.
That is the number one movie I recommend.
It's an epic movie.
If I'm on Mars, I want them to know humanity. I say this is the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
This is a perfect summary of what we are. This is a perfect summary of who we are. This is it. Captain Fantastic.
Captain Fantastic. It's incredible.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Second, I would say, man.
A tough one to decide.
Tough because it's my last one. My first one, I knew I had the second one. My second one, I have no other one.
I have one that kind of a similar kind of test. I believe you like and resonate. I mean, maybe it's a little simplistic, but maybe Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump? That would be a good one to give to the Martians.
I mean, because it's someone who's really simple that goes through different periods of life. And he's been, for me, it just shows a connection with other people and how he's able to not let these circumstances or other people's kind of take away his empathy, his kindness, his nature.
Yeah.
And a simple man who makes a lot of it. But I found that similar just for Captain Fantastic to some extent, where it's a story that represents the core of what humanity can be at its heart, without the pollution of toxic ideas and nasty self-interest. But I think that's maybe in your top 10.
I think I'm fantastic. If you give people more and more recommendation, they're probably going to watch any movie.
Yeah.
So
especially the 3 it's hard to choose.
So I already say this is all you
fantastic.
That's the one I would say. Yeah.
And where can they find it? Probably it's on
Netflix, Amazon, everything.
It's on everything.
Oh, it's on everything.
Oh,
especially I know for a fact Netflix.
All right. Cool.
Just watch it.
I'll say this. I mean, you really want these people to watch these movies. So we'll say this. If you want to watch a movie and you need to buy it somewhere, you can message me. For the first 5 people who message me, I'll send you the money to buy this film.
From me.
I mean, if you want to, go ahead. But I mean, really, it's something crazy. It's $4. But the first 5 people.
Oh, Brucey with the generosity.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. It really impacted me. First 5 people who
The movie, you saying?
The movie,
Yeah,
direct message, Zeus with Bruce, or just get in contact with me. You send me the information. I'll buy it for you. First 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move because there's a lot going on in the next store. Let's move then. Podcast. I think you mentioned Zeus with Bruce. I don't know if that slipped through your lips.
Did not.
They didn't slip your lips. Oof. Oh man. That was the one. Okay. So now we're looking at what's next, or what next? What next for Brendan?
2 things. So, well, I'm going to start a property management company this year.
Before 2022.
You
mean this
in 2022?
Okay.
In this upcoming year, property management company for short-term rentals in New Jersey. It's going to be called the Silva Hospitality.
The Silva Hospitality coming in 2022.
I think I'm going to call it the Silva Hospitality Group.
New Jersey. Yes. So
that's what I'm going to say. That's 1. 2, actually, I'm looking to do less better. That's what's next.
Do less better.
What's next for me is sustainability, longevity. Do you know Tom Brady? Do you know he doesn't lift weights really? Do you know what he does? All bands. Why? Longevity. Longevity. And I'm only 27, about to turn 28 in April. I'm realizing I'm burning myself out. And I can't sustain this intensity. I need to do less better. So that's what's next for me, man. I want to do less. I want to start a new company. Now, it may seem counterintuitive, but actually I'm making a lot of progress. I want to start a new company today.
I mean, after this podcast.
Right? I want to do it today, but guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to do it today. Why? I have a company right now. We sell gajillion houses. It's a lot of money.
Gajillion's a lot.
So we're doing well.
It's more than a gazillion.
Yeah, I would say so.
It's a lot.
So I would say so. We're selling gajillion houses. It's a lot of money. And
you're really turning so many houses into homes.
I want more than that. We sell the gajillion houses. We're selling a lot of houses, right? And we're not doing as well as we could. Our quantity is up. Our quality is down.
Is that because you're doing more ineffectively? Because you're saying do less better.
Yeah, we're doing more ineffectively.
Okay, so you're working more.
Look at this. In the business, there's 2 sides, right? There's front in any sales, any service business. There's front end and back end, right? In a restaurant, what is there? There's waiters and cooks. Hey, we're getting a lot of orders where 30 people just ordered the steak. We've never had 30 people order steak before in 1 hour. Now 100 people order steak. Hadn't we ever had 100 people order steak? Wow, that's awesome. So what do? You hire more waiters, right? Let's take more orders. But guess what you forgot to do? Train up the kitchen staff.
Yeah.
Now they can't. You didn't buy enough grills. You ran out of salt. Meats on back order. Should order yesterday.
Supply chain issues.
Boom.
Terrible.
So that's what happened with my business. We started blowing up the business. Quality trashed. Why? We grew in sales, not in service.
Say that again. You grew in
sales, but not in service.
Not in service.
So
well, question. I mean, service. But shouldn't they be in tandem? If you go in sales, don't you go in service?
No, you don't. You should.
And why is that?
Because you don't slow down to think. You just go. So that's the thing. Like, I don't have the problem of inaction. People have problems. That's not really my problem. I take action. I'm an action guy. Just do it. Jump. Go. But I have the problem of slow down, think. I'm the antithesis of a philosopher. I'm the antithesis of a organized type A kind of person. I'm just like, listen, my car's messy. Let's run. That's me. I'll clean the car later. We got to go. I don't think it has to say, hey, my client's going to get in the car. I just think, I got to pick up this client. See what I'm saying?
And it's finding a way to make that happen. Yeah. And now that we're going through the details, but Jeff, take the action. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the parts it seems like we struggle with a lot, but exciting with the management and finding in 2022. That's coming up. I mean, it's right there. It's a big move.
We're only opening that company Q3 of 2022. So I'm giving myself 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, really 8 months of planning, preparing, really doing it well before we even do it.
So you're doing slow better, and making sure
do less better,
do less better. Do less better. Do less better.
Do less better.
Powerful, man. For someone who also likes to go quick.
Like for me, my goal in 2022 was to sell 360 houses.
Basically, one every day.
One every day. Guess what we're gonna do though? 300. Do less better.
And you know what's even wild? Maybe the next year the team grows, it's more effective. You're able to do it. Maybe it becomes 400, 500.
But if we do 300 well this year,
then yes.
The following year, where we're gonna be at, we can hit. 5, we have capacity 6. For 5, 6. But if we do 360 this year, guess what the next year we're going to be at? 420, 430. Painfully.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And probably maybe some issues here and there.
Oh, some
Holidays slowing
issues.
down.
Death. Crucify.
Crucifixion.
Yeah, literally. They're coming from the blood. Go.
I mean, that's what it sounds.
Go. I gotta. This is now. We're getting deep. We're getting deep.
We're getting deep in here. We're getting deep in here. So let's ask, where can
next?
where can we find you?
So
of course, you're always in New Jersey.
Offices,
Okay.
Newark, New Jersey, and it's gonna be awesome to Makerhoods. Really cool office building community project for small businesses. But you can find me on Instagram at Brendan DD, or you can find me on Facebook at Brendan Da Silva. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we'll put all the links on the bottom as well, so people can access it.
Like text me, call me,
text him, conversation, and have a nice little chat.
I'm pretty available. I think text is actually like my new norm.
All right.
That's like
you
can put a phone number 201.
Oh, yeah, we'll put the rest. Yeah. All right, exciting. We're so really we're just sort of wrapping it up here, and this next little part, I'd like to do some gratitude.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got it. It's a little curveball.
Okay, you didn't see that.
I sent you the thing.
I didn't see the gratitude part.
Oh, well, to be fair, I think I actually did add that in a part.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just want to say thank you for coming on.
Oh.
And making not just that, but taking the initiative to be bold and be fearless, to learn from actions. And it's never really a failure as long as you learn from it. If you're learning, you're never really failing. But to also be bold and to have a dedication and commitment to improve people's lives and finding a way to share the circle of empathy with others, whether they agree or not, and just being hungry for growth, connection, compassion, love, and developing as a human being and becoming the best version of you that you can be, because it does radiate and it has the ability to affect others in many different ways that they don't perceive. And of course, just coming on to do this. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Wow, that was very kind. I like that.
Gotta know something nice.
I like that. That was
however,
a little nice thing.
yeah, I gotta add it. You took your time, and time is valuable, and I want to respect your time.
Oh, definitely. I have no idea what time it is. How long was this?
It
could be 20 minutes. Could be 30 minutes. 40?
Yeah.
I have no idea how long we're going for.
It's a little more than an hour, but
a
little more.
Stop.
Yeah. Okay. Well, basically, and to conclude it, this is the last section. The little nugget of wisdom. And as I say, this section is the nugget of wisdom to elevate like Zeus. What is a piece of information, a thought, an idea, a quote that you want to leave listeners with, or even myself with, that would help them elevate themselves to get in the position that the story of Zeus, as we said, from a place of ignorance and pain to a place of knowledge and pleasure. What would you recommend is your nugget of wisdom?
So based off the book Atomic Habits, I would say don't expect yourself or hold yourself accountable to any metric that is greater than 1% better every day.
Wow.
If you want to get there tomorrow, it's not about growing your business overnight. It's not about growing your business over a year. It's about very small, consistent decisions over a long period of time that make the difference. And that is where I'm at right now. I'm saying, let's slow down. Let's do a little really well so we can last.
Powerful, man. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that was better than the first
my
one.
God.
Well, there we go. We crushed it. Everyone, happy Thanksgiving. If you came at the end of this, send me that message for Captain Fantastic. And really, the first 5 people, he'll get it. We'll pay for you. Let's end it. All right. Peace. Oh, there we go.